Field has just gotten the one to go here. Carl Edwards is the race leader. Went in second, won the race off of pit road. Biffle comes out 8th, Tony Stewart back in 15th, and Jimmy Johnson in 16th. So Carl Edwards leads, has had a good day on the track, and thanks to these guys, a good day on pit road so far.
Bob Osborne, Chester, Pennsylvania.
My name is Shannon Keys, and I'm from Byron, Georgia.
DJ Kopp, Ontario, New York.
Tracy Duncan, Lincoln, North Carolina.
Trent Davis, Vail, North Carolina. Jason Myers, Arvada, Colorado.
Joe Karasinski, Spotswood, New Jersey.
Eric Slade, Hillsdale, Michigan.
Wayne Deloria, Biddeford, Maine, now Hickory, North Carolina.
The 99 guys trying to get Carl Edwards a championship today. For much more on NASCAR, log on to NBCSports.com. You'll find Benny Parsons and Alan Bestwick hanging out there. Plus, you can email BP your NASCAR questions. That's all at NBCSports.com. You're just a wizard with that email, aren't you, BP?
Oh, yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Man. Edwards, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Casey Mears. Jeff Gordon's last 4 races, the win at Martinsville, 2nd at Atlanta, 14th at Texas, 3rd last week at Phoenix. In the 2 races on this configuration at Homestead, Gordon has finished 5th and 3rd. And his car is pretty stout. We'll see if he can get around Edwards. We go back to green.
Car's going to be able to do this time, but he was unbelievably fast on that last set of tires.
And this is a part of the race where the championship contenders have to be careful every restart. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson.
Tony Stewart goes by Johnson. Dave, what's up with the 48?
Well, BP, we talk about him being racing the 20 and the 99 and the 16 today, right?
Yes.
Well, he may have to race the 42 of Jamie McMurray a little bit harder. McMurray's a few positions ahead. He's also the pit stall right before Jimmy, and Jimmy has to go around him every time he enters his pit. That slows him down. He needs to get ahead of the 42 to have quicker pit stops. Alan.
One of the things that Tony Stewart's team is talking about is contact on pit road. Greg Zipadelli warning Tony to take care of his fenders leaving pit road. Even if it costs him a little bit of ground on the pit lane, BP and Wally, be better than being out on the racetrack going green like this with a wrinkled up right front.
You're absolutely right, Alan, but you know what? The driver needs all the help he can get from the crew guys because, like I said, when you're leaving your pit stall, you cannot see. You're just relying on your team to tell you if you're clear or not, because once that jack drops, you go. So it's really, it's a group effort down there trying to get out of your pit stall clean.
And you have to think about that all day.
Looks like Tony Stewart's car is a little bit better this time because we saw Elliott Sadler drive by him on that last set of tires. Now he is up there trying to drive by the 38 car and will do it.
This is for 13th. Stewart to 13th as he gets inside of Sadler. This is for 3rd place here. Gordon in the 24. Casey Mears, who has looked strong early, and Casey Kane in the 9. Alan, how about Mears?
Bill, this young man thinks he has a winning race car. I talked to him just before the start of the race. He said, over the long runs, our car really was better than most in the practices that we had. I'm very hopeful. I'm very confident. He said one of his biggest lessons during 2005 is that he feels he now knows what it takes to win one of these races.
And that's something you have to learn.
I'll tell you what, this 41 car at the Texas Motor Speedway just 2 weeks ago was unbelievably fast. Just a little Latin magic, and he could do something serious. Here we go, 3 wide.
Gordon get loose there?
It looks like he slipped up the racetrack a little bit. I thought Casey Kane was going to move around the high side, but Gordon's kind of just blocked with the 21, and he's got to be real careful. He needs to go, but it's going to make it 3 wide going down the backstretch.
Alan, has Jeff Gordon said anything about his car?
Loose, BP. Plus, he said it likes being out front a little more. Now that he's broken free of that pack of traffic and he's in cleaner air, he thinks he'll be better.
Up front, Carl Edwards and Ryan Newman. Marty?
Well, Bill, both cars are just a little bit loose. Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Carl Edwards, radioed to him, said, Ryan's a little better in 3 and 4 than you are. Try a different line. Ryan said after the changes they made on the last stop, his car's much better this time around.
Newman had a fantastic battle yesterday with Biffle in that Busch race. The kind of racing they expected when they put in this configuration here at Homestead.
Carl Edwards on these mile-and-a-half racetracks has been so strong. If his car works up on a high line, he's just tough to handle.
What Bill talked about, the configuration here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, it has variable banking. The bottom groove is banked 18 degrees, the middle groove 19 degrees, and the outside 20 degrees.
And that allows you to race in different places on the track, like a 3-lane road, basically, correct? Biffle in the 16 and 6th. It's Harvick. Just lost the position.
And Casey Kane, the 9 car. We saw him up there just a moment ago battling with Jeff Gordon and Casey Mears. He has fallen back behind Biffle and the 29 of Harvick.
You talked about mile-and-a-half racetracks, Wally. Carl Edwards has 3 wins in the 9 races on mile-and-a-half tracks. 6 top 10 finishes. First full year in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series for Carl Edwards. Trying to bring home the Nextel Cup. He leads the race, but he's got to hold off Tony Stewart. Transform the way you watch NASCAR. NBC and Sony HD TV proudly present today's race in high definition. 63 laps complete. Carl Edwards leads Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, Casey Mears, and Greg Biffle. Championship leader Tony Stewart runs 12th. Jimmy Johnson is 14th.
Looks like Gordon's car maybe gets a little bit better after he runs a little while, BP, because he was slipping back and now he's going forward.
Well, Alan talked about his car being loose. All the crews that I talked to this week, if you can stand it, if you can run that car just a little bit loose the first few laps of the run, it's going to get better as the race goes on because the racetrack is going to tighten the car up.
Problem is when you're in traffic on those restarts and your car's loose, that's where you have to be really careful.
And that's when you want somebody like Jeff Gordon driving your car.
Okay, those 3 have sorted it out. Let's take you through the field, presented by Speed Pass from Exxon and Mobil. And we'll start off with Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, when you're trying to win a championship, you bring your best race car, and of late, this has been the 99 team's best car. It's raced 3 times this year. Its worst finish is 10th. Carl says the changes made me 80% better. I want more of what you did on that last stop. Behind him, Ryan Newman in a great battle with a 24 and the 41. Ryan says still tight on entry for him. Loose off. That's what they have to fix on the next stop. Alan?
But Jeff Gordon had no adjustments made on his car in the last stop either. He's just called in talking about that it feels like his right rear tire is just dancing around the racetrack. We'll see how that goes. Running right behind him and trying to pass him, Casey Mears running 4th. Casey talked about his car's handling, saying that he feels it will get better as the temperature cools off. He's hanging around in 4th. Matt?
Greg Biffle has 5 wins this year, but hasn't gone to victory lane since August. Knows he needs to have another day like he did here last year. A win to get those maximum bonus points. They made significant adjustments, Dave, on the last stop. It really has helped. He's chipped away at Tony Stewart's lead.
Matt, Kevin Harvick described his car as awesome, a slight air pressure adjustment on the last stop, but since then complained he might have a cylinder going down. Switched ignition boxes, no problem, they think, just a scare.
Lots of new things for Casey Kane to deal with this week. His team basically swapped around with that of Jeremy Mayfield's as team owner Ray Abraham looks ahead to the 2006 season, so Kenny Francis is now the team director for Casey Kane. He's running 7th now. He started 3rd.
Marty? Alan Homestead has one of Dave Blaney's better racetracks in his last 4 races here. He has 2 top 10 finishes, having a nice run today in the 8th position. Car was a little tight on the last stop. They took air out of the right front, put some air in the right rear. That's made it a little better. Matt?
Mark Martin just trying to hold on to that 5th position in the championship points, but every time Newman moves up or down up at the front, so does Martin. He's back into 5th currently. He says the car, Marty, just needs to be so much more free like his Busch car last night.
Mike Bliss racing his way into the top 10. That's good because his 2 Homestead races before this, he finished 40th. He told me today, you know, I know we have a much better car than that this afternoon. Just a little bit tight right now, Dave.
Davey McMurray has lost a couple of positions since the restart. The car was tight before that stop, made some adjustments. It still refuses to start coming off the corner. Alan?
Well, we've talked about Tony Stewart kind of on shaky terms right now, but he did start 20th, and he's moved up to 12th position. Tony fighting front-end grip on his car, still telling crew chief Greg Zipadelli he wants it to be able to turn better off the corners. Marty?
Alan, if you watch the lap times, Dale Jarrett creeping his way back up through the field, currently in 13th. The car is just a little bit tight, but on the last stop, they made no changes to the car. Dave?
Jimmy Johnson's been working his way up from his 32nd starting position. Remember, last year he started 39th, was at the top 10 by lap 80. Never led, but kept the pressure on. Same story today. Moving forward, Marty.
Dave, with an experimental setup, as they called it this morning, Elliott Sadler currently in the 15th position. Car very fast to start a run, but it falls off quickly during the run. As soon as he's done with this race, he's on a flight straight to hunting season. Can't wait, he told me. Alan?
Rusty Wallace in his last call race took the green flag way back in 37th spot. He is running 16th as a result of a two-tire only stop his team made on the first pit stop of the day. Rusty hanging in there with the rest of them now on a similar pit schedule. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. Those are the top 16. Then it's Quapple, Mayfield, Kenny Wallace, and Sterling Marlin, the top 20. There are 39 cars on the lead lap. Carl Edwards leads by about 5 seconds over Ryan Newman, and that Ryan Newman, Casey Mears, Jeff Gordon battle has been the best race on the track.
Casey Mears has gotten by Gordon. He's been working on Newman. He's trying to work the low side, but Newman is so strong getting off the corners. He just has so much momentum going down the straightaways. But you see, now this is the furthest that Casey's been up on the 12 car. He's got it.
And now Gordon, who had fallen back a couple of car lengths, is right there again. Side by side with Ryan Newman.
Newman may have slipped up there in 3 and 4 a little bit.
Everybody talks about how Jeff Gordon's season has been disappointing. Oh, right in front of Newman.
Oh, wow. Jeff Gordon had his hands full as he came off that second corner.
I don't make Newman like that too much.
If Gordon was to win today, it would be his 5th win of the season, including a win in the Daytona 500.
The problem, the reason that we can call Jeff Gordon's season not too good, he hasn't been competitive on this kind of racetrack. The mile-and-a-half, 2-mile tracks. Yes, he won at Talladega, he won at Daytona, he won at Martinsville, but not these intermediate races.
And at one point, he went 21 races without a top 5 finish. That's when they were really struggling. Carl Edwards. Is there a backflip in his future? Out in front by more than 5 seconds in the Ford 400 at Homestead.